Welcome to the 15th annual Capstone, and as it is my great honor and pleasure every year, for 15 out of the last 15 years, the woman who has been by our side, rooting and cheering and supporting and always telling us whatever crazy ideas we had for a research project or something interesting to do with the curriculum to go for it, and is responsible as much as the faculty or anyone here for the success of this program. It is my great privilege to welcome tonight to make opening remarks on behalf of the college, the president of the Fashion Institute of Technology, Dr. Joyce F. Brown.
You should see the other guy. Anyway, thank you, Stephen. It is always such a pleasure to be able to welcome all of you to the Capstone event for FIT's pioneering master's program in cosmetics and fragrance marketing and management. And at the age of 15, it is still the only program like it in the nation. You know, I remember when we held our first Capstone event in 2002. It took place in a small conference room next to my office, and it was just about the right size because there were about 40 people there. But look at us now. I mean, we have a 700-seat auditorium that is to the overflow, so we've come a long way. Now, as many of you know, these annual Capstone events are a highlight of the FIT academic year because the work that our graduating students produce is always so outstanding. And clearly, our industry partners agree. The students investigate themes that are of great relevance to the industry, to academia, and really to the world at large. This year, the theme is the future of innovation, which led these enterprising students to explore best practices in industries outside of beauty, like Google or Shinola or Samsung. And they got an in-depth look at the processes that lead to new products and new ways of thinking, an in-depth look, in effect, at what leads to innovation. Now, I know that innovation really is a catchword today in industry, and it is in academia as well. If you Google it, you'll get over 500 million entries. But that doesn't make it any less significant as a concept or as a motivator. In academia especially, we prize innovation because education is really all about the future. We really cannot stand still. Our curriculum has to be forward-focused, so we encourage our faculty and students to experiment, to research, to innovate. In fact, like many academic institutions, especially those with a strong link to industry, FIT has an innovation center, one with a design and tech lab, which we just established in partnership with the software giant Infor. So its goal is to use the bright creative minds of our students, along with the great expertise of our faculty, to solve problems for industry. And I am pleased to say that our executive director, Michael Ferraro, has joined us this evening. So if you have any questions about it or any issues you would like your company to bring to FIT to explore, he's the man. He's the man to talk to about that. So the MPS program in cosmetics and fragrance marketing and management is a prime example of academic innovation. It has become a think tank for the beauty industry, and it is a great source of pride for FIT, for which I both thank and congratulate Professor Stephen Canlian, who is its founding chair. He has led each step of its development along the way. Our students are now presenting their research overseas, last year at the Luxury Interactive Conference in London. In fact, last year's research was featured on the cover page of the personal journal section of the Wall Street Journal, a piece written by Ellen Byron, who is moderating a panel for us this evening. So I would now like to thank LVMH Perfumes and Cosmetics North America for its sponsorship of this evening's Capstone, along with, of course, our very good friend Pamela Baxter, who is retiring as the company's president and CEO. LVMH has been a strong supporter of this program, sponsoring the Capstones 3 times, and we've really come to rely on that support and really do appreciate it. And Pamela has been integral to that sponsorship, and I should say to the program. She has served as an executive mentor to a student every year since its founding, and of course has served on the program's advisory board. She has also been a very devoted member of the FIT Foundation as well. So right now, I would like to invite to the podium Tenille Copias, the Senior Vice President for Marketing at Perfumes Christian Dior, who will represent LVMH on the program's advisory board when Pamela steps down. She is also a member of the class of 2004 and the first graduate of the program to join its advisory board. So, Tenille.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. I'm very honored to be here today to serve on the Industry Advisory Board as the first graduate, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Pamela Baxter. Pamela needs no introduction. She's an industry icon, a career that is nothing but aspirational. As a strong supporter of the program and just female leadership in general, Pamela makes it her priority to continually mentor and train and share her advice to future leaders of tomorrow, and this is truly her passion. I've had the great fortune of working with Pamela at Dior, understanding her business acumen and her style, and I feel grateful for that honor. She inspires us all at LVMH, and I'm personally grateful for this opportunity. So on behalf of LVMH, today what we'd like to do is present a check to FIT towards the FIT Mentor Program to symbolize Pamela and all that she's done in her personal investment to the program, as well as her focus on developing talent for the future. So Pamela Baxter.
Wow. Thank you, Tenille and Dr. Brown. We are incredibly proud to have been able to nominate Tenille as the first program graduate to serve on the Industry Advisory Board. And I know Tenille will only be the first of many more to come. LVMH has been, as Dr. Brown said, a board partner since 2001. And I actually started the program. I was in that conference room when there were 40 people in the very first Capstone presentation. So to see this auditorium filled with all of the industry luminaries is quite extraordinary. It's been very rewarding to see how the research has grown in stature and visibility each and every year. We have worked with IDEA, we have worked with Boston Consulting Group, and as Dr. Brown mentioned, been written up in the Wall Street Journal. So each year, we also sponsor the program's Executive Mentor Luncheon, at which the students present trend research from their overseas field studies and research projects from the coursework. And in another milestone this January, the students' original consumer macro trend research done in their marketing course was included in the annual Hot Off the Press review presentation done by NPD. The students are indeed inspiring new thinking in the industry that brings value to their brands and to their teams. So I will now turn it over to the students to share insights from their global field studies and share with you the brief for this year's research on innovation. And I also congratulate the class of 2016, and as always, look forward to hearing their fresh thinking and the recommendations that they will share with all of us this evening. So without further ado, let's turn it over to the class of 2016. Thank you.
Globally, companies are under extreme pressure to drive bigger, better, faster innovation or risk becoming obsolete. New sources of innovation are everywhere, from academia to startups to governments. Companies need help understanding how to harness these generators in order to innovate.
Additionally, trends such as the exponential growth rate of technology and the emergence of Generation Z are putting pressure on corporations to redesign their infrastructure to adapt and thrive in this new world. Tonight, we will share how the innovation landscape is disrupting the way corporations innovate and recommend a new model for how companies can evolve their organizational structure and culture to improve processes and output.
To inform this work, we conducted extensive research on external and internal innovation. We began with multi-industry desk research across 10 industries, including tech, auto, retail, fashion, beauty, academia, and innovation consultancies. We focused on 4 markets and conducted over 80 qualitative interviews with industry experts, some of which were Ivy Ross, VP at Google, the keynote speaker at FIT's graduation this year; Sandrine Goodall, Chief Innovation Officer, L'Oreal; June Aoki, Chief People Officer, and Masahiko Uotani, CEO, Shiseido; Eric Galler, Chief Marketing Strategy Officer, 3M; and Larry Keeley, author, 10 Types of Innovation.
In addition to the US, we did a deep dive on innovation in China, South Korea, and Japan, which we visited in March as part of the curriculum. We had the opportunity to be fully immersed in the distinct innovation culture of influential global markets. These experiences included visiting the Samsung Innovation Museum, seeing the Amori Pacific Digital and Product Archives, as well as taking a tour of its Story Garden exhibit, bonding with international students from Tongji University in Shanghai, and learning from Professor Richard Xu, founder of TEDx Shanghai, and his fellow entrepreneurs, such as Bob Zhang, who created People Squared, the WeWork of China. And touring with Estee Lauder millennials to understand cultural and shopping trends in Korea.
These experiences, coupled with our extensive desk research, led us to identify 3 global trends that informed our recommendations. Japan's largest cosmetic portal, @Cosme, provides its customers with product ratings and reviews, not only online, but also in-store. This strategy creates an unbiased sentiment that enables customers to cut through the clutter and creates a relationship built on speed of trust, a concept which we believe is a reaction from growing consumer skepticism. Hiroshi Fujiwara's Japanese concept store, Parking, inspired our second trend. The store is home to a variety of unique collaborations, such as Nike and Fragment Design. This collaboration-focused approach highlights the importance of partnerships in what we have identified as a collaboration nation.
In China, interest in global design has intensified, and the tastes of the younger generation have become more refined. We visited Design Shanghai, which welcomed a record-breaking 46,000 visitors in 2016. Many of them were Generation Z, signaling a youthful thirst for design. This wealth of knowledge across markets and industries led us to the insights and recommendations you will hear this evening. The class of 2016 looks forward to sharing our global research on the future of innovation.
Today, we are living in a self-preservation bubble. In this competitive market, we are obsessed with innovating internally. For many legacy organizations, the thought of pivoting is paralyzing. We need to demand breakthrough thinking rather than fostering safe innovation. Every industry needs to shift from simply preserving its existing business to rethinking, reimagining, and refocusing its efforts on the future of its business. Here's how we're innovating inside the self-preservation bubble today. We invest heavily in R&D to drive innovation and go as far as changing the title of entire departments from research and development to research and innovation. The word innovation appears in 2.9 million job titles on LinkedIn profiles. Even the number of Chief Innovation Officer positions has increased. In a Capgemini survey, 43% of companies reported having CIOs, up 30% from prior year. Yet 58% of those same companies said they did not have an innovation strategy. Corporations have tried to define their innovation ability through the use of patents. According to the World Intellectual Patent Organization, international patent applications filed grew to 218,000 in 2015, setting a new annual record. While it can be argued that patents can serve to represent new technologies and scientific discoveries, this is further proof that we are most concerned about ownership than we've ever been before. NASA took the extreme position through its technology transfer program of opening its patents to allow anyone to start experimenting with NASA-owned IP. If organizations as critical to the world's future as NASA can do it, why do we insist on keeping our intellectual property to ourselves? When we think of innovation, many of us immediately think of product. An MIT Sloan Management Review survey revealed the existence of product myopia when it comes to innovation. This idea is echoed in a Harvard Business Review article, suggesting that companies are more focused on short-term product iterations rather than disruptive, game-changing innovations. We also attempt to innovate in the form of acquisitions. In 2015, there were 85 acquisitions within the beauty industry alone, up 37% from prior year. While acquisitions may be a successful strategy to grow your business, they are not a form of innovation. The mere act of acquisition takes something inherently external and makes it internal. Eventually, the diversity of knowledge will disappear. Self-preservation does not equal innovation.
Our obsession with internal innovation has resulted in a backwards approach to innovation. In reality, innovation is the output. What we've lost is the input, curiosity. But could it be today that we have too much knowledge and information to be truly curious? In the past 3 minutes that you've been listening to this presentation, over 4 million gigabytes of information has been uploaded on the internet. If you're overwhelmed by this, you're not alone. Professor Benjamin Jones of Northwestern University proposes that we have a burden of knowledge. As information and ideas accumulate, it takes even longer for new thinkers to catch up. There's only so much a person can learn. This forces a greater reliance on teamwork to broaden our view, which is not supported by the current self-preservation bubble. We identified 3 emerging trends that will disrupt the self-preservation bubble: the democratization of innovation, collaborative consumption, and the linked generation. First, let's take a look at the democratization of innovation. According to MIT professor Dr. Eric von Hippel, the tools for designing high-quality innovations are becoming so cheap and so ubiquitous that individuals can now innovate for themselves. In the same way that mass-produced automobiles made driving accessible for the average consumer, the consumerization of technology has now enabled the average consumer to create their own software and apps. Tech is no longer only for techies. Today, everyone is a power user. Software companies have redefined the user experience to make technology increasingly user-friendly. This has led to individuals also becoming creators. Fabrication laboratories, also known as Fab Labs, were founded in 2001 as an outreach project at MIT and have since spread to over 600 locations worldwide. These labs are equipped with the digital and physical tools that enable anyone, inventors, to create almost anything, instilling a mindset for permissionless innovation. Other platforms, such as YouTube and Etsy, have also made it possible for anyone to play in the innovation game. The democratization of innovation has granted access for all.
The second emerging trend we've identified is collaborative consumption. The current shared economy in which we live is based on collaborative consumption, accessed via community-based online services such as Uber, Airbnb, and TaskRabbit. This has given rise to the Uberization of the economy in the form of an on-demand marketplace. The shared economy is built on personal relationships versus empty transactions, empowering people to make meaningful connections. As a result, we are evolving from a shared economy to a trust economy, where virtual trust becomes the high-value currency. Much like traditional currency, trust must be earned and maintained. As we mentioned in our methodology, at Cosme in Japan exemplifies a way to quickly earn value generated by trust. According to David Olk, CEO and co-founder of Voré, a professional networking company, there is a direct correlation between trust and value. If trust is not there, value is destroyed. Collaborative consumption fosters an environment of trust. The third emerging trend is the linked generation. The linked generation, also known as Generation Z, was born between 1995 and 2010 and will make up 1/3 of the US population by 2020, exceeding millennials. Collaboration is in the linked generation's DNA. More than 60% share their knowledge with others online, contribute content to websites, and believe that technology makes anything possible, which showcases their collaborative skills. The linked generation realizes that they can't do everything on their own, moving from the once popular DIY to DIT, do it together. Through collaboration and cooperation, DIT moves us into the world of trust-based, connected relationships. The linked generation ignites connection. These three trends boil down to three key values: access, trust, and connection, which will become the natural environment in which open innovation can thrive. Open innovation utilizes internal and external resources and ideas to enable a transparent, democratic, and collaborative way to innovate. Procter & Gamble has taken this step toward open innovation. They recognized that the invented ourselves model was a sure path to diminishing returns, and as a result, decided to generate 50% of their innovations through collaborations with external partners. Through these external collaborations, P&G has created many beloved products, including Olay Regenerist, Swiffer Dusters, and the Crest Spin Brush.
Until now, the perception of a brand has been based on who they keep company with at point of sale. However, consumers are starting to judge brands based on who they partner with for innovation, such as Oreo's partnership to create 3D printed Oreos based on real-time tweets at South by Southwest. We must stop obsessing over ownership and foster open innovation. In the future, innovation will rely less on intellectual property and more on innovation partnerships. Innovation partnerships will become the new IP. So who are your potential innovation partners? The government is a key partner that can drive innovation through the regulatory environment in which companies form and grow. According to the World Economic Forum, the government can lower barriers to innovation through tax incentives, funding, and business-friendly regulations. During our field study in Seoul, we learned that no country in the world has more backing per capita from the government than South Korea. In the next 3 years alone, the Korean government will invest $3.7 billion into startups in the form of grants and other initiatives. Ernst & Young reported that the Korea Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy will dedicate half of its R&D funding towards entrepreneurial businesses by 2017. The Korean government also fiercely protects and supports the beauty industry, one of its most precious resources. Via tax breaks, the government has encouraged beauty exports, which accounted for over $1 billion in 2014, exceeding the amount of beauty imports. When we met with Yonsei University, we also learned that the government funds academic research in the biotech and beauty industries to further support innovation. As we learned during our field study in Stockholm, the government can also foster innovation by alleviating the burdens placed on individuals. The Swedish government fosters innovation through free access to education, monthly child allowances, and affordable health care. The Swedes are reported to have lower stress levels and higher levels of happiness, creating an environment conducive to creativity and innovation. As a result, it is no coincidence that Sweden is consistently ranked in the top 3 most innovative countries according to the Global Innovation Index. In the US, the government is playing an active role in social innovation by collaborating and partnering with external entities. In March, the White House tweeted at Jet.com to publicly seek assistance to get access to affordable diapers for low-income families. Jet responded by finding a solution to bring diaper costs down and grant nonprofits access to these discounted diapers. And as a result, 10 to 15 million diapers will be distributed to families in need this year.
Non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, can be another powerful partner by sparking opportunity and innovation in processes, strategies, and social change. NGOs often take a grassroots approach, enabling them to be highly creative, adaptive, and nimble. If necessity is a mother of invention, the limited resources of NGOs can actually provide great benefit to fueling innovation. Do you remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge in 2014? Harnessing the power of social media, it collected over $115 million to fund ALS research. PopTech is a perfect example of collaborative NGO. It creates innovation partnerships across a variety of industries to ignite social change. PopTech brought together Frog, Nokia, and National Geographic Society to create a low-cost mobile helpline to assist HIV/AIDS patients in South Africa. With the trend towards urbanization, cities are becoming smarter and evolving as key partners for innovation. Over the years of Capstone research, we have increasingly noted the power of cities in urbanization. The city provides the environment and basic infrastructure, such as telecommunications and transportation. Emerging smart cities, such as New York, Pittsburgh, and Singapore, attract talent and bring the right players together to form innovation hubs and build innovation culture. According to INSEAD, the New York City Economic Development Corporation makes municipal data publicly available to programmers, designers, and entrepreneurs who seek to solve urban issues affecting city residents. The city is also a place that provides a space to live and work. WeWork is a co-working office space designed to foster collaboration. This year, WeWork launched WeLive, a co-living experiment offering flexibility, community, and functionality to a new wave of innovators. Academia has long been a partner in the innovation process. Corporations can engage and rely on academia for sponsored research to find solutions and help fund patents and trials. For example, the hair care brand Living Proof was created from proprietary molecule emerging from MIT's Langer Research Lab. In addition, Stanford University's Research Park was the birthplace of Google and is also home to world-leading innovative companies such as Nest, HP, and Tesla, making it a hub for innovation. Academia is also responsible for teaching skills that are immediately applicable to today's innovation needs. For example, there are 500,000 computing jobs open in the US, but there are only 50,000 computer science graduates each year. As a result, Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, and Doug McMillon teamed up to lobby the government to start teaching computer science in grade school.
Corporations can also be innovation partners. We mentioned earlier that 2015 ushered in a new record for the amount of patents worldwide. Despite the apparent tight grip companies are keeping on their intellectual property, there are several inspiring examples of open innovation, where competitors have successfully come together in support of mutually beneficial causes. Although working on competing projects together, Google, Ford, and Uber created the Self-Driving Coalition for Safer Streets to lobby the government for regulations that support self-driving vehicles. Another example is the recent agreement between Google and Microsoft to end their patent wars and drop 20 lawsuits against each other. The companies determined that it was more beneficial to their respective customers to collaborate on certain patent matters. The last potential innovation partner is the individual. Individuals can be visionaries and dynamic leaders who ignite collaboration and inspire others. From JFK challenging the scientific community to put a man on the moon, to Elon Musk revolutionizing transportation, true innovators are disruptors and embrace fearless failure. However, innovation is everyone's job. Intuit predicts that by 2020, 40% of the workforce will be freelancers or their own boss. Social media has already provided the platform for everyday individuals to become innovators at any age. Two examples are young YouTube entrepreneurs, Bethany Mota and Evan Tube. This will give rise to a new type of individual, the omni-employee. The omni-employee will be able to work anytime, anywhere, and for anyone they desire, matching the way they work to the way they shop today. In essence, access, trust, and connection become the foundation upon which all innovation partners come together.
Through our research, we developed a model that harnesses the collaborative power of all 6 innovation partners: the government, the NGO, the city, academia, the corporation, and the individual. Our model is the innovation ecosystem. This model draws parallels with natural ecosystems and their ability to sustain biological populations while all members contribute to the community. The innovation ecosystem fosters open innovation by moving away from the old IP-based model and allows you to participate in the new IP-based model of access, trust, and connection. As each partner contributes, the interdependencies between them define the value of the new IP. How is the innovation ecosystem beneficial? First, quality. There are more smart people outside your company than within it. It's the law of numbers. Be adaptive. The innovation ecosystem will combine internal and external ideas, rendering better quality solutions. Second, cost. In closed innovation, P&G would have paid the same amount to get one project to the position that the Open Innovation Challenge got 4. Global access and connectedness of today will bring cost and time reduction in joining forces with external partners. Third, perception. The bigger a brand gets, the smaller it should act, because no one likes big. The more strategic and thoughtful a brand's innovation partnerships, the further the brand's perception will go. And lastly, effort. In reality, that iPhone in your pocket would not have gotten there were it not for hundreds of collaborations around the world. The innovation ecosystem gives brands the chance to comfortably spread the work while still capitalizing on the wins. In summary, our model offers 4 benefits: better quality, lower cost, improved perception, and efficient effort. It's time that we shift our mindset from the old IP to the new IP and engage in the innovation ecosystem. As consumer psychologist and author Dr. Kit Yarrow puts it, if retailers just keep trying to do the same things better instead of doing better things, it's just a question of time before they die.
So what does this mean for the future? Here are our predictions for how the innovation partners need to evolve in order to continue to foster the innovation ecosystem. In the future, we predict that the government will play an active role in fostering innovation. Instead of the New Deal, the government will need to develop the Innovation Deal, which will involve helping alleviate daily stressors to provide a social safety net, ultimately enabling individuals to ignite their curiosity. Technology will continue to transform NGO fundraising activities. NGOs will need to keep up with the speed at which society expects innovation. This will require strong collaborations with innovation partners who can assist in making quick decisions and taking calculated risks to drive social change.
The city of tomorrow should be a smart and sustainable one. The evolution of the city will place collaboration at the center of live and work to create a bridge between the two. We envision the creation of modular innovation districts that can be formed depending on the innovation need and can be easily mobilized to their next location. The future of academia will be impacted as students realize their opportunities to become self-made. There will be less desire to jump into college or devote a career to a corporation. Education will become more flexible in the form of micro-degree programs, similar to that of General Assembly's certification bootcamps or MIT micro-masters programs. Flexibility will also impact curriculum. Hack schooling allows for education customization by going outside of the traditional establishment to accomplish the same educational goals. Hack schooling will become a predominant form of education to spark curiosity for innovation.
Corporations will realize the necessity of open innovation as the best practice for the future. We envision that collaborations between large corporations are only the beginning. Like-minded corporations with similar goals will find each other beyond the boundaries of competition to collaborate and innovate for the common good. In the future, the individual will transition from embracing the American dream to adopting the new American truth. The new American truth will consist of individuals becoming his or her own brand as the economy shifts from shared to trust.
How you approach implementing the innovation ecosystem may vary depending on your scope, resources, and risk tolerance. In year one, there are 3 key action steps that can be applied to large projects or day-to-day innovation activities. The first step is to determine your target by identifying the innovation need. This can include reforming your business's culture or image, resolving business challenges, or researching insights to drive innovation. The second step is to identify key innovation partners. For example, if you need help with research, you can partner with academic labs or innovation schools such as Think. For sourcing talent, you can reach out to agencies like Way Up to connect with college students, or Forecard to give you access to a curated database of influencers. For segmentation, partner with organizations such as the New York City Economic Development Corporation to access city data. Lastly, choose your platform to connect with your innovation partner. You can leverage a grassroots approach, as you saw in the social media example with Jet.com. Or you can join an open innovation community such as OpenIDEO to submit your innovation challenge and tap into IDEO's established community.
In year 3, your corporation should develop its own online open innovation platform in order to provide the structure needed to map your innovation partners, share ideas, and collectively develop solutions. Rather than being a one-way submission platform where external ideas are submitted to internal departments, the online open innovation platform will allow for the access and active collaboration between internal and external members to drive open innovation. In year 7, you can develop the Innovation Ecosystem Accelerator, where the X stands for your external innovation partnerships. We envision that it will combine the collaborative environment of a fab lab with the speed and development capabilities of an accelerator. It will provide physical infrastructure, strategic capital, and operational support to advance disruptive innovation through the freedom of experimentation with moonshot projects, providing an environment that is conducive to fearless failure. This environment can be achieved with the right accelerator team that integrates internal members across functions with the external partnerships that have been established through your innovation ecosystem.
To recap, embracing the do-it-together mindset and proactively establishing key innovation partnerships through the new IP will allow you to break out of the self-preservation bubble.
The innovation ecosystem will shift your strategy from simply preserving your existing business to rethinking, reimagining, and refocusing on your future. Thank you.
Now we have it for the record, on the record, however you want to say it. Radio Shack has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection under
Cosmetics
the US
maker
bankruptcy
Avon
code.
Products said it would cut about 600 jobs, including in its North America unit.
Here's
as the company
Recode
tries to
reporting
return to
Twitter
profit.
is planning
Avon
a
said it
layoff
would
that
take a
will
pre-tax
affect
charge of
most, if
$45
not
eBay is
all
down
the
6.5%. Really, you're seeing just broad
Big
based.
Big layoffs coming for some big companies. eBay, American Airlines, the AMR Corporation filed for bankruptcy.
Can't look at it after you buy it. It's so hard.
To quote Jack Welch, former chairman and CEO of General Electric, when the rate of change inside an institution becomes slower than the rate of change outside, the end is in sight. Our extensive research has led to the identification of 3 macro trends. Fast is too slow, man versus machine, and talent exodus. These trends inform our internal business model for innovation. The first trend, fast is too slow, is related to the exponential growth of technology. The doubling of data is generating opportunities for new companies to be up and running in less than a month, including your competition. Research by the Olin School of Business shows that 40% of the current Fortune 500 companies will not be in business by 2025. If you started a company in the 1920s on the S&P 500, you had a 67-year run rate before someone disrupted you. Today, you've got 15 years. That rate is shrinking. Business monoliths are crumbling. Kodak once commanded 90% of film sales. They only recently emerged from a 2012 bankruptcy filing. Borders expanded into superstores instead of capitalizing on ebooks. These companies eroded because they failed to jump on market opportunities. According to research firm L2, luxury companies may be next. In 2015, Apple's revenue growth exceeded the total revenue of 7 global luxury conglomerates. And they sell watches now.
But it's not only tech-savvy competition that is threatening our organizations today. People could be completely displaced as well. Macro trend number 2 relates to the rise of artificial intelligence and robots. This trend has existed in many cultural references over the last few years, from movies to fashion, like this year's Met Gala theme. However, AI has gone beyond movies and costumes to business. It has the potential to completely displace humans in the innovation process. For instance, IBM Project Watson, it's a tech platform used to synthesize and organize data, a job usually done by data scientists. It is predicted that 50% of jobs will be taken over by robots in the next 30 years. Our last trend is around generational shifts in the workforce. Talent retention is increasingly becoming more of a risk. With millennials and Gen Z, job hopping is a major concern, as 83% of today's students believe that 3 years or less is the appropriate amount of time to spend at their first job. Furthermore, over a quarter of the students believe that they should stay at their first job for 1 year or less. So how can companies evolve to retain millennials and Gen Z while still satisfying older generations? What does the future of your story look like? Will you thrive or die?
The traditional ways of innovating within companies have changed. Tonight, we will build a blueprint designed to generate bigger, better, and more impactful innovation. Our model is constructed of 3 core concepts. The objective of each concept is to bring diverse perspectives in, broaden those perspectives, and create a culture where people feel free to exchange them. Traditional companies know they are too slow to keep up with the tech companies who are infringing on their turf, such as Airbnb versus hotels, Uber versus taxis, or Mink versus beauty. Established companies are focusing on quick fixes, like new office spaces that emulate tech organizations. This moves people into more innovative spaces, but without actually changing the makeup or design of the team. Ultimately, companies need both the people and the place to make a difference and foster innovation. Additionally, examples have demonstrated that diverse points of view and experiences have been shown to increase innovation potential. For example, data science company Kaggle holds contests to improve corporations' algorithms. In every contest, external data scientists beat internal algorithms, and in most cases, outsiders or non-experts bested the experts within a particular domain. Jun Aoki, Chief Human Resource Officer for Shiseido, explained, "Diversity is the next key source of innovation for all companies. Japanese companies need to say goodbye to homogeneity because we really have to find a way to grow." To harness these diverse perspectives to increase innovation, we compared multiple organizational structures against the macro trends. There is only one concept that responds to the reality of where we are today: the fluid organization. This organizational theory is not new. In 2004, Misao Kakihara from Kwansei Gakuin University published a study, The Rise of the Fluid Organization. Kakihara discussed how firms are flexibly mobilizing human resources outside formal organizational boundaries. The rise of the mobile professional, combined with the increase of data, created a need for fluid organizations that would expand and contract around project needs. Contract-based experts would be brought in on an as-needed basis. However, in the title of the study, we noted that there was a question mark. The concept was ahead of its time. Today, we can remove the question mark and claim that the fluid organization has arrived. As Fast Company states, there's no such thing as a non-mobile professional anymore. And with the rise of big data, every industry is knowledge intensive.
The reinterpreted fluid organization is still comprised of a smaller, dynamic core team with a spectrum of backgrounds and experiences. The remaining team is staffed externally via the innovation ecosystem. Richard Xu, founder of TEDx in China, recommends injecting non-traditional points of view as guest experts into your fluid organization, including youth, elders, and consumers. At Google, VP Ivy Ross curated 50% of her team for her current project internally and 50% externally. And for her next project, Ross will start from scratch and design a team that fits the needs of what they are trying to accomplish. In contrast, most product companies today move the same team from the same brand from one project to the next. An example of industry-wide adoption of fluid organization is the Hollywood studio model. Pre-World War II, studios retained the same cast from one film to the next, often resulting in homogeneous films where top talent was typecast into similar roles. Post-World War II, studios became more like venture capital companies. Talent is brought in based on each project's needs, and actors can play a wide range of characters. Longer term, technology will enable us to automate internal and external talent matching. Workforce platforms will match the right skills and interests to the right projects. The fluid organization brings together individuals with diverse perspectives. The next step is to broaden these employees' minds in order to drive innovation. The current system does not allow for the broadening of perspectives. As noted by Daniel Pink, the current corporate model is based on a 9-to-5 production line mentality, born during the Industrial Revolution. Today, according to a study by Euro RSCG Worldwide, this antiquated system is crashing, as the millennial and Gen Z workforce are overturning the traditional workday. Therefore, the 21st century corporate organization requires an upgrade to autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Research by the Intelligent Group demonstrates that intrinsic factors such as meaningfulness and purpose can motivate employees more effectively than traditional extrinsic ones such as money. In the conventional model, time management is key. There are more than 86,000 books on Amazon dedicated to this topic. The traditional notion of time management connotes top-down. According to Princeton University, the fundamentals of time management are commitment, one thing at a time, block out time, routine, and react. In contrast, Cornell University's principles of design are balance, proportion, rhythm, emphasis, and unity. These principles can be applied to the new concept that we've developed called time design. It is a more holistic way of approaching one's time and implies empowerment and ownership, broadening perspectives in order to foster innovation.
We have become too outcome-driven. An industry expert we interviewed gave us this analogy. Think about cows. If we didn't give cows time to graze, they wouldn't make milk. People collectively check their phones more than 8 billion times each day, and yet productivity is barely rising. Time design will relieve the overwhelmed employee. The concept centers around flexibility, customization, and engagement, offering opportunities and substantial career and development growth, and most importantly, it increases productivity and nurtures creativity.
Deloitte's Human Capital Trend Report states, companies need to begin to examine the design of their employee journeys with the same intensity they bring to designing the consumer experience. Time design is more than HR programs and processes. The new focus is on designing a productive and meaningful employee experience. This new approach transforms the traditional HR function into experience architects, or XA. HR will move away from being service providers to valued employee experience consultants. Only in this way can organizations build innovative and talented leaders that they need. Accordingly, experience architects will move beyond supporting traditional career path, career development, and project management, and instead empower employees to practice career curation, experience engineering, and project orchestration. First, let's explore career curation. Career paths do not have to be linear. They can be like a metro map with various intersecting paths and decision points. It is no longer about the career ladder. It is about career curation, which takes a page from academia. For career curation, electives become cross-functional experiences, study abroad becomes international assignments, and sabbaticals are breaks for in-depth industry research. An example of career curation in practice is Deloitte's Mass Career Customization Program, which provides employees the flexibility to change their work preferences twice a year. Changes include pace, workload, location, schedule, and role. Charles Jennings, co-founder of the 70-2010 Institute for Workplace Performance, sums up the importance of career curation by stating, workforce development can be distilled down to 4 basic elements: experience, practice, conversations, reflection. Employees need to be exposed to a multitude of experiences to become leaders. Similarly, time design can be applied towards one's career development, or as we renamed it, experience engineering. When it comes to experience engineering, a personal plan that will flex to your life cycle is key, allowing you to pivot along the way depending on life stage. The key to experience engineering is allowing the employee to choose his or her own adventure. Think about experience engineering like frequent flyer programs. There are several different ways to obtain status. To earn points, you can take longer routes, upgrade classes, or purchase miles. Likewise, if we assign each experience engineering module a certain amount of points, and challenge each employee to meet a total, they can design their own path to reaching that goal. Lastly, time design can be employed for project orchestration, which shifts the focus from output to input. Ivy Ross's Project Platypus, an initiative first developed at Mattel, is a prime example of an open-minded approach to time design with respect to project orchestration. Under Project Platypus, during the first 2 weeks of a 12-week product cycle, new stimuli are put into the system. During these first 2 weeks, the what-ifs are being answered. After all, if you're trying to design a new car, you don't just look at other cars. Ultimately, each part of time design, whether it's used for career creation, experience engineering, or project orchestration, broadens perspectives to foster innovation.
We have organized teams with diverse perspectives via the Fluid organization and proposed a talent development structure to further broaden employees' perspectives with time design. Finally, the exchange of perspectives that will ignite innovation must be rooted in a culture of trust, which is difficult to achieve. In corporate culture today, increasing demands, goal setting, and performance reviews impede the creation of trust. How does trust relate to innovation? Neuroscientist Janet Crawford shows that the prefrontal cortex is where innovative thought has its genesis. Electrical changes reflect feelings of being either safe or threatened. When an individual feels threatened, the tendency is to retreat into habitual responses and avoid any element of risk. So how do we create the trust that is necessary for successful innovation? With psychological safety. When in place, there is an untroubled state of mind. The concept of psychological safety was coined by Amy Edmondson, professor at Harvard Business School. It is a shared belief that the team is safe for risk-taking and a sense of confidence that speaking up will not lead to embarrassment, judgment, or punishment. It describes a team climate characterized by interpersonal trust and mutual respect, in which people are comfortable being themselves. Psychological safety requires a framework of openness and connection, starting with an understanding of your performance. The demand for more dynamic feedback will only increase, as 69% of younger generations think that the annual performance review process is flawed. Additionally, within companies, only 8% report that their performance management process drives high levels of value. If psychological safety is in place, then there's a constant feedback loop, and there's no need for this burdensome traditional annual review process. Instead, these touch points can turn into career development discussions. The second component of psychological safety is about building real relationships. Prakash Venkataraman, Executive Development at LinkedIn, simply states, "Who do you trust more? People who genuinely care to know what makes you tick, or people who are pushing to get something done with no regard to your unique value?" Building genuine human relationships will be essential with artificial intelligence playing a larger role in the innovation process. Companies will have to determine the right balance between AI and HI, or human intelligence, in order to achieve successful innovation. In January, McKinsey stated, CEOs and their top teams will need to gain an almost architectural sense of how machines and people work together side by side, each making the other more productive and effective, while never losing sight of their employees' humanity.
To recap, we have reviewed how to use the Fluid organization to develop a diversity of perspectives, how to broaden individuals' experiences and minds by applying time design, and how to create the strongest, most open connections between those employees via trust culture to ensure exchange of diverse perspectives. Together, they create the Innovation Blueprint, a model which will cause a paradigm shift in the way organizations innovate and drive concrete business results. To move from strategy to action, we developed a 7-year roadmap for companies to adopt the Innovation Blueprint, which can be found in our white paper. Year 1 is focused on piloting, Year 3 on scaling, and year 7 on full implementation of the model. To support the roadmap, we conducted a comprehensive financial analysis. Post-Capstone, you will be provided our white paper for the full financial assessment of our business model. But here are some top-line results. Company Y did not adopt the innovation blueprint and grew slower than the expected cosmetic industry CAGR, while Company X did adopt the innovation blueprint and was able to increase both sales and profit.
Following the innovation blueprint over 7 years, Company X had net sales compound annual growth rate of 8%, while Company Y grew at 3.4%, resulting in a delta of 4.6%. In addition, Company X's net profit CAGR was 38%, while Company Y was 10%. That's a 28% incremental net profit. To put this in perspective, if your company is a $600 million company today, it would grow to $1 billion by year 7. We believe that to fight the challenging forces we presented in our macro trends, companies will need to take drastic action and implement the full innovation blueprint to thrive. Are you ready to architect your company for innovation success? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Wall Street Journal's Ellen Byron and the Capstone Research Group leaders.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Me being from the Wall Street Journal, I have to ask, how do you sell these ideas to shareholders?
So I can answer for the internal innovation part. So essentially, it will take some time for the 3 components that we presented to you today, the time design, the fluid organization, and trust culture, to function as a unit. And as we discussed during our business model plan, that there's a rollout and it goes in phases. So we would pilot, and then we would scale, and then we would bring into full implementation. And of course, there's a lot of investment and risk there, but we believe that the greatest risk would to do nothing at all. So that's why we feel that this is critical for companies today to start integrating into their business.
And from an external perspective, instead of relying solely on your internal assets and capital to fund innovation, through open innovation, you have access to a world of assets, really. And that creates an environment of sustainable progress, which is beneficial to both consumers and shareholders. And through our research, we've learned that Procter & Gamble have actually tripled their innovation success rate through their open innovation platform and decreased their innovation costs, which would make any shareholder happy.
Okay. A lot of these ideas suggest shaking up companies, especially their leadership structure. Could you talk a bit about how a CEO's role might change?
Certainly. So as part of our research, we consider that the CEO of the future will still play a big role. In our innovation ecosystem model, we believe that the CEO will be the one to orchestrate this model. In fact, we mentioned during the presentation that there needs to be a change in mindset where open innovation and collaboration is encouraged, and that will definitely start with the CEO and trickle down to the rest of the organization, ultimately building an environment that is conducive to fearless failure.
Yeah, and I think also, if you think about it, we identified 3 potential roles that a CEO or leadership generally, C-suite leadership across the organization could play. And I think the first is the talent curation piece, which we talked about a little bit during the presentation. The curation of internal, of external, of technology versus humans. And so I think that that's going to be a huge role that the CEO and leadership will play. And we heard that from our executive interviews with Sandrine Goodall and from L'Oreal and from Ivy Ross at Google. They said that they almost feel like they're orchestrating that talent experience. And so I think that that's going to continue to be increasingly important. And then there's 2 other areas I think that will be important. The first is just to fight inertia. So a lot of us work at big companies. There's a lot of inertia there. And so I think it's going to take that top-down mandate to really shake things up and recognize when a model's not working. So whether it's incomplete or incorrect, how do they fix it? And then the last piece is just around removing roadblocks. So it's their job to see the whole picture and understand identifying where these roadblocks are and removing them from the system to help the model work cohesively.
Okay, and Andrea, in your presentation, it occurred to me that crowdsourcing is gaining a lot of ground. How does that fit into your innovation model?
Yes, in fact, we conducted a lot of research around crowdsourcing as part of the research that we did to understand the different types of crowdsourcing out there today that go from the typical Lay's Dose of Flavor campaign to American Idol and even Kickstarter. But what we found through the research was that crowdsourcing today is being used for a lot more than just these simple examples. It's being used for co-creation as well as driving consumer-centric innovation. For that reason, we predict that in the future, crowdsourcing will need to evolve and become more strategic, because the truth is that tapping into a crowd or the masses is becoming too generic and voids of the human element that we know will be critical as the economy shifts from share to trust. So for that reason, in the future, crowdsourcing will be more about curating from a hand-selecting group of people whose opinion you trust and value to ultimately build brain trust of advisors, or in Gen Z's terms, build your squad.
Okay, and related to that, Andrea, in your model, Andrea, in your model, there's a lot of fluidity of staff discussed. How does a company maintain institutional knowledge with that?
Definitely. I mean, I think it's not just in our model that problem exists. I think it happens in all our companies today with attrition and with keeping talent in place. That's a problem that everyone faces. But I think that there's two ways that we can really kind of combat that challenge. One is if you employ the whole innovation blueprint, you have time design in place, which the whole focus there is to put inputs into the system. So if you think about your inputs as being passing that institutional knowledge from team to team or from person to person, that's one step, is making it part of the process. And then the other part is trust, where with those genuine human connections, you're forging a place where you feel safer to ask those questions and to ask for that institutional knowledge and not have a fear of not knowing something. And then I think the other piece that's really going to help a lot is technology. So Harvard Business Review wrote an article about Intel, and they have the Intellopedia, which is a wiki where they keep knowledge from projects and people and roles, and they continue to pass it along. And I think that we're going to see more and more of that, where technology is helping organizations to hold that knowledge and make sure that it's flowing effortlessly throughout an organization.
Okay, and Megan, how do companies make time design goal-oriented? Is that still important?
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest fears that companies have today about redesigning the employee experience. They fear that giving them more flexibility or autonomy might take away from motivation or driving performance. But we feel the opposite. And in fact, all the aspects of time design that were presented today, they all incorporate goal setting into it. It's just done in a more flexible way that encompasses the values and characteristics of millennials and Gen Z, who will be your future leaders. So if I take, for example, each of the aspects, which we had career creation, still annual goals that the employees will need to meet. It's just more holistic. And then experience engineering. Again, there's goals. We gave you the frequent flyer program example, so it's a points model. In fact, it's probably more engaging and could be more competitive for the employees. So there's still goals set in that as well. And then project orchestration is the last one. And again, the expectations are the same. The deliverables are the same. It's just the way that you approach it, again, which is more engaging for the leaders and the employees of the future.
Okay, and Hillary, versions of open innovation already exist. Could you tell us a little bit more about how your model differs?
Sure. So open innovation certainly exists today, and even within the beauty industry itself. There are examples of open innovation platforms online, such as Unilever has an open innovation portal, Beiersdorf has their Pearl Finder portal, which is a great way for anyone around the world to submit ideas to the company to help innovate and drive solutions. However, in the future, we believe that these portals are going to have to evolve even more into platforms where the internal members and the external partners can collaborate and work together to drive the innovation working as a team, and they could connect basically anywhere around the world despite their physical location.
We welcome questions from the audience. I know you have some. We have microphones positioned at the end of the aisles, and I could ask these guys questions all day, but I'll spare you. Please feel free to come forward and bring some of those.
How do you do? First, I'd like to say that everything was fantastic.
Oh, and could you please identify yourself too?
My name is Bob Irosi. My daughter's was on the first team, one of the first ones speaking.
Yay!
Here's my question of you, because I'm in the tech arena. You talk about data, but I didn't hear data aggregation and how you will acquire it. One of the things that I do is take disparate sources of information and mesh, blend them to make them appear as they're coming from one source so you can actually aggregate your data. I didn't hear that. Do you have anything in that area?
Yeah, I could talk about that.
Sure.
All day, in fact.
This
This is a topic that I'm newly obsessed about, or have been looking into quite often. So we found, or we've looked into, the way that data can actually, and sensibles and wearables that generate this data, can be used to engage trust with consumers. And we find that might be a competitive advantage in the future. So I think transparency with the consumers via open source data like Unilever's promise to be carbon positive by 2030, and L'Oreal's La Roche-Posay UV patch, which gives consumers insight into how the product's efficacy, how the efficacy of the products are working. And so using that data to gain trust with the consumers and to stand behind their products and their promises. So that's our view on how data can help.
And I think internally as well, you'll see a similar thing where it's bolstering that trust that we talked about and that openness. So Megan talked about accountability, and we don't think that there will necessarily be the same annual or biannual reviews anymore, but we could see, or we are already seeing across the tech industry, big data happening around employee performance. So people can log into systems and leave positive or constructive feedback around employees at any time. And so I think the aggregation of data sources is going to impact both internal relationships and external relationships, both related to the idea of trust.
Okay, and please go ahead.
Good evening. I am Donna Morgan, and I'm an educator in Los Angeles, California. I heard you mention of a new model where after secondary education that the students would branch off into a non-traditional form of education instead of going to colleges and get partnerships and collaborations to form this new innovation. How much thought has been given to the initial stages of this, children who are pre-secondary, and how that can build them up to be integrate into the system that you are speaking of?
So we can take that question from the external team. I think that what we're talking about and seeing today is a change in mindset of the new generation that it's going to be attending college and eventually now starting as interns, which is the Gen Z generation. In understanding their mindset and what they really care about, it's very clear to us that they're looking to become self-made, and there's even a possibility that they'll be buying or owning their own businesses by the time they graduate college. So that gives them a whole level of freedom and opportunity to explore, and education will need to go forward with this type of new community to be able to give them the tools that they need to cultivate the innovation and the career that they seek in the future. So for example, when we speak about education and the new programs happening, what we see is that flexibility would be very important. So while the traditional levels of education might continue to exist, we also recognize the necessity for some flexibility in the programs that are being introduced. So that's where we see the micro-degree programs that we discussed, sort of the General Assembly's boot camps, as well as the MIT's micro-degree programs that we have in the presentation as well.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? With that, thanks everybody. I want to congratulate the class of 2016. We're now going to move to the awards.
Good evening. I'm Mary Davis. I'm the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies here at FIT. And on evenings like this, I'm especially proud of our students and the work that they do. As Ellen mentioned, we're moving into the awards ceremony portion of the evening. Truly, every student, everyone involved in this program deserves an award. And I would like to thank Ellen off the bat for the work that she's done with our students and for being here tonight to moderate the panel. I'd also like to say a word of thanks to our advisory board and all of the mentors who work with our students. You do an incredible job, and we're deeply grateful for everything that you contribute. I think we've all seen the results of that here tonight. Mostly, I'd like to congratulate all the students who presented. You all have done amazing work from the time you landed at our doorstep at the School of Graduate Studies at FIT, such as it is. And tonight's presentations were a great culmination of that. The research you presented is a real contribution, not just for the cosmetics and fragrance industries, but for a much more general audience. Your research will undoubtedly stimulate further thinking on business methodologies and provide models for the future across a range of industries. I know that the CFMM program is intensely demanding, especially for working professionals, and I congratulate you on earning the Master of Professional Studies degree, which is one of the highest degrees that we offer here on the campus. As I start my 5th year here as dean, I've been really fortunate because I've had the opportunity to travel with students in this program to see the reach and depth of the work that they undertake every year, and to join with others here on campus, including President Brown, most importantly, to support the work that everyone involved with the program does. The research continues to gain visibility within and beyond the beauty industry as students present at national and international conferences, publish and disseminate their work across the globe. The School of Graduate Studies is committed to fostering and supporting exactly the kind of research and creative work that these students have presented this evening. It's key to our school's strategic plan and to the strategic plan of the college. And I'm so pleased that all of you were able to be with us tonight to hear from the students directly. And to the awards, it's now my great pleasure to introduce Camille McDonald, President of Brand Development and Merchandising at Bath & Body Works Limited Brands, who will kick off the awards portion of the evening. Thank you so much.
Class of 2016, you rock. It was an extraordinary presentation and probably one of the biggest challenges, if not the biggest challenge that every company faces is innovation. So thank you for the insight that you gave us. So take a deep breath because now's the fun part. Sponsored by Victoria's Secret Beauty and Bath & Body Works jointly, the Limited Brands Student Leadership Award is accompanied by an annual gift of $10,000 to the FIT Master's Program to support the annual team building workshop and other professional development workshops which support leadership skills among the students. This is the 15th year the award has been presented, dating back to the program's inaugural graduating class in 2002. The class is asked to nominate one of their peers for this honor based on exemplary leadership of high-performing teams, mature judgment, and respect for the views of others. They are also asked to select a peer whom they see as succeeding to the highest levels of leadership in the industry and someone for whom they would be proud to work in the future. So it's a very special pleasure to present this award and participate in Capstone each June. I'm very committed to the FIT Master's Program because of the talent it produces for the beauty industry, the caliber of the faculty, the quality of the curriculum, and the unique learning platform that it represents. I enjoy serving as an executive mentor every year to a student in the program. I learn more than they do, and this award represents the best of the best among a very talented group of young leaders. So I would like to read 5 of the strongest nominating comments from peers in the class of 2016 to give you a sense of this year's award recipient and to keep the suspense going just a little longer. So, first quote is, "This student inspires others to go above and beyond their comfort level to explore uncharted territories. This student's caring, calm, and friendly demeanor creates an atmosphere of trust. This individual is the type of leader anyone would be honored to work for and with. I often find myself amazed and fascinated by how this student's mind works and am consistently blown away not only by this student's ideas, but an ability to synthesize research to deliver effective results. This student's leadership talents include high intelligence and powerful communication skills, including the ability to help others distill their thoughts into actionable steps." And the last comment is, "This individual thinks strategically and always has a vision of where the team should go. The calm and easygoing personality is contagious, and even at crunch time, never wavers. I'm so happy that this individual has been part of my class, and I would be very proud to work for the winner of this award in the future." So it is a pleasure to present the 2016 L Brands Student Leadership Award to Unilever's Andrea Steele.
Good evening to you all. My name is Jack Oliva. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs here at FIT. Perhaps one of the most exciting parts of my job is when I have an opportunity to recognize the work that our students and faculty do. And in that light, I'm delighted to have been asked to assist this evening with the presentation and some of the scholarship awards. I have had the unique privilege since coming here to get to welcome each new class that comes into this program. And one of the messages I say as part of that welcome is that we're going to work them all very hard, and I want the experience to be a hard one for them, because in the end, they will reap great rewards from the efforts that they put into the program. And tonight is a classic example of what all of that hard work yields, and I want to congratulate the students from this class for the tremendous work that they have done with this research, and in particular, for tackling the topic of innovation. I spend a significant portion of my day every day working with faculty in this institution and in others that I've been on matters of curriculum, talking about ways in which the curriculum can be improved, how can we take some chances, how can we blaze new trails, and reflecting on some of the information that was presented this evening and some of the key points that came out of this evening's research and presentation. There are indeed some very important messages for the field of higher education and education more broadly in how it needs to look to the future to reinvent itself so that students who are educated do so in a way in which they remain engaged and build the confidence and the ability to rely on their own skills to make decisions and to move things forward. I also want to take this moment to congratulate and thank the faculty that devote a tremendous amount of their time to make this program as successful as it is, as well as our partners from industry who in so many ways, since this program has started, have enriched this program to become a gem among those in our graduate program. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Oliva. It's so nice to have you a part of tonight's events.
Thank you.
And I understand you have another role that you're playing later.
I think so.
Yes? Jack is an accomplished concert pianist as well, so he's going to be playing for us tonight after. To the class of 2016, this is the first time I get to say it. You've done it. Congratulations. It has been, so rewarding to see each and every one of you reach individual milestones and professional development over the past 2 years, and now we look forward to your continued contributions to our industry. I keep asking myself, what will you do next? I cannot wait to find out. Okay, on to the awards. In the past, the scholarship awards have acknowledged students who have excelled academically throughout the program, and we're still recognizing that. But the scholarship awards have become so much more. This year, the scholarship awards will still reflect a strong GPA, as will the Outstanding Scholar Award. However, the awards will also acknowledge individual achievements, contributions to the program in the classroom, assignments, group projects, recognizing those scholars who have really gone and done over and above. There are 4 students tonight receiving scholarship recognition and 1 student receiving the Outstanding Scholar Award. So to begin, I'm going to start with the scholarship award recipients. When I call your names, please come up to the stage to receive your award. And while I say a little something about each of you as you come up. So our first scholarship award recipient is Jessica Abrams from Dr. Dennis Gross Skincare. Come on up. This student, or as I can now say graduate, always exhibited grace, poise, and generosity. She continuously pushed her thinking both creatively and intellectually, a true scholar and a true contributor. Next on the list is Andrew Muguerza, SkinCeuticals. I have the best job here doing this, honestly. This graduate is also highly intelligent, always a consummate professional, even-keeled, reliable, who academically excelled in both individual and team projects. Our third scholar is Christy Silko of Cody. Christy is super smart and a deep and introspective thinker, more tenacious than even she knows, and has been a great team contributor throughout the program. Our fourth scholar is Andrea Steele of Unilever. And Andrea, simply stated, is a rock. The depth of her thinking and intellect is off the charts, and she has always delivered above and beyond on every single project. So I'm going to come over, we're going to take a photo. Congratulations, Jessica, Andrea, Christy, and Andrea, on your academic accomplishments and scholarship recognition. So in awarding this year's Outstanding Scholar, there was really no question. This person is a spark. She is someone who has never failed to ignite the conversation in the classroom, who always shared her unique point of view. This person was expectedly unexpected. Yes, the academic performance, work ethic, intellectual and creative contributions to her individual and group projects were there. Speaking for myself, I could always count on this person to sit up front, to be engaged and ignite the discussion. This person is intelligent. I mean, what student isn't in the program, honestly? But she's also driven, open-minded, full of conviction, fearless in attacking complex issues, and is also deeply introspective. She has strong opinions, is highly convincing, and I can attest to that, knows herself and is true to herself, which I deeply admire. She also has a big personality that is absolutely infectious. Simply put, she exemplifies innovative thinking by an outstanding scholar. Who is this year's outstanding scholar? Well, if you haven't figured it out, it's Megan Mancow of L'Oreal. So on behalf of the faculty, peers, family, friends, coworkers, and your growing fan base, please join me and Jack in congratulating Megan on her extraordinary achievements. Quick photo. Yes, I'm going to do a little intro. So, and now before I introduce your next presenter, I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of the Executive Board of our Alumni Association. This is really important to us. We have a highly engaged group of alumni, and the Executive Board has really done a fantastic job. So Ildiko Juhas, Allison Sofrezi, Carolyn Arnst, Hannah DeBoer, and Doreen Kaplan have really had excellent contributions in leadership of our organization, and I want to thank you very much on behalf of Stephen and myself and the rest of the alumni, because not only are you doing an amazing job of engaging our alumni, but you're doing so by offering continuous learning opportunities that are highly curated, creative, and extremely relevant. So thank you for that. And now I'm honored to introduce our next presenter, who happens to be Ildiko Juhas, chair of our program's Cosmetics and Fragrance Alumni Association, and she is the National Education Director for LVMH Fragrance Brands.
So good evening. As Brooke said, I'm Ildiko Juhas, chairperson of the Executive Board of the Alumni Association, and it is my sincere pleasure to congratulate the class of 2016 on completing your capstone projects, and I'd love to officially welcome you as program alumni. The mission of the Alumni Association is to provide ongoing education programs that recreate the unique learning environments and opportunities for interaction with industry leaders that we alumni experienced while attending FIT. Each of our events is followed by a networking opportunity for attendees, thereby continuing to strengthen our peer relationships. The Alumni Association sponsored events ranging from fireside chats with CEOs to retail trend discovery treks this year. As we begin planning our fall event calendar, we'll be reaching out to each one of you for your input and ideas on how we can continue to make the alumni experience a truly rich and engaging one. And now on to our award. We are truly grateful to Coty, our ongoing sponsor of the program's annual Alumni Award. This individual is selected by the Executive Board of the Alumni Association based on the following criteria. This person is an industry leader as illustrated by his or her professional achievements, industry involvement, and future industry potential. This person is a mentor within their teams, organizations, and through supporting students and alumni, developing impactful relationships and careers. And finally, this person serves as an advocate and a voice and a presence for the FIT alumni community, as well as for our current students. Now I'm pleased to introduce Simone Bolletin, U.S. Director of Influencer Marketing Luxury Fragrances for Coty, to present tonight's Coty Award for Professional Excellence.
Thank you, Ildiko, and congratulations to the class of 2016. I'm proud to be representing Coty here tonight, and as a graduate of the class of 2014, I can recall only too well the sense of pride, achievement, and relief that you're all feeling right now. This is a night that you will remember for the rest of your lives, and you should take great pride in the accomplishment of your graduate education and in the global research that you've presented here tonight. One of the things that attracted me to this program was the long list of illustrious alumni that came before me, a list that is about to become even more impressive after tonight. I'm never surprised to find an FIT graduate speaking on a panel about the future of our industry, accepting an award for a breakthrough product launch, or mentoring and inspiring a team of future leaders at some of the top companies in the world. The 2016 recipient of the Coady Award for Professional Excellence is among the best and the brightest of this prestigious group, as the first graduate of the program to serve on the board of a major industry trade association. Scheherazade Chamloo, class of 2006, is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for North America at SGD, the global leader in perfumery and cosmetics glass packaging. In this role, she has successfully strengthened the company's position in North America over the past 20 years. Prior to joining SGD's New York team, Ms. Chamloo held positions with SGD Europe as area manager for UK perfumery operations and as the key account executive for global beauty brands in Paris. As an active participant in the beauty packaging industry, Ms. Chamloo promotes the key role of packaging in increasing brand engagement and delivering a premium consumer experience. In addition to speaking on luxury packaging seminars, she also contributes editorial features and articles in industry trade magazines and is regularly cited as an expert in her field. In addition to her MPS degree from FIT, she also holds an MBA from the École Nationale des Ponts et Chaussées in Paris, and in 2011, she was given the unique distinction of being the first FIT alumni to be named to the board of the Fragrance Foundation. This is not the first time that the MPS program has honored her. She was also among 10 talented graduates working in fragrance to be honored at the Fragrance Foundation Awards Breakfast in April of 2010 to coincide with the program's 10th anniversary. In honor of Ms. Chamloo's accomplishments, Coady will donate $10,000 to the alumni organization on her behalf to help fund ongoing alumni programming that supports the professional development of all of the program's graduates. Please join us in congratulating Scheherazade Chamloo on this prestigious award.
Thank you, dear Simone, for your very kind introduction. Good evening, everyone. I'm deeply honored to have been selected for this award, and I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Alumni Association, the selection committee, as well as to Professor Konyan and his team for their support. Having listened to the inspirational presentations of the graduating class, it is clear that innovation is increasingly about having groups of people come together to leverage their diverse talents and expertise to solve multifaceted challenges that cross multiple disciplines. When you look at the current and future direction of innovation, it becomes obvious that there is a strong need in today's complex business environment to create and nurture a networking culture. 10 years ago, I was standing on this same stage presenting my Capstone project. And today, when I look back, I realize that this program has created opportunities for my personal and career growth that would not have existed otherwise. Few industries give women as many opportunities to succeed as the beauty industry. And this industry is all about relationships. Through the FIT MPS program, I met industry leaders and practicing professionals who believed in mentorship and building networks, and my leadership skills and social network were enhanced through each contact. For example, thanks to connections I made at FIT, I was invited to join the board of the Fragrance Foundation. Having always worked on the manufacturing side of the beauty industry, the opportunity to interact with leaders of global beauty brands helped me better understand the challenges faced by these brands from innovation to execution in an ever-changing fragrance market. I want to thank the FIT MPS team for all the practical training, the unique interactions with the leaders of the beauty industry, as well as the support of the FIT alumni program for the continued learning and networking opportunities. My career accelerated quickly following this cutting-edge program, and the FIT team supported and celebrated my accomplishments every step of the way as I was promoted to vice president level and continued to learn through FIT's continued education program. As the class of 2016 turns the final page of this truly life-changing program, I would like to offer them these words of advice from an African proverb which was mentioned earlier in the Capstone research tonight. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. Thank you.
So, behind a great class, and congratulations, class 2016, is a great faculty. So I think we deserve to give the faculty a round of applause. Thank you. I'm Dimitra Manis, and I am the Global Head of Talent, and I'm delighted to be here tonight, even with a bit of jet lag. We have had a wonderful relationship with FIT, and we are absolutely thrilled to be continuing our relationship and our partnership. We have been actually giving this award since 2006, and it was given firstly by Mrs. Evelyn Lauder herself, and we sponsored the Capstone event that year as well. So we've continually, since then, given an award, and together, in honour of this, in the 10 years that we've been associated with this, we've been given an annual gift of $10,000. We have wonderful experiences, and as I said, you know, it's so important to recognise the faculty, our teachers that actually provide and stimulate the classroom. The award itself, the Estée Lauder Company's Faculty Leadership Award, is actually an award given to really help create that stimulating class. So the nomination normally comes from the graduating class itself, so thank you for doing that. And based on their actual inspiration in the classroom, based on the innovative teaching methods, based on coaching and mentoring, and the knowledge of subject matter itself. And as tradition has it, our students provide many, many excerpts from their submissions, and we want to really just share some of this with you tonight so you can get the sense of what they've said about the actual award winner tonight. So here's some of the excerpts. This professor is a true expert in their field, yet it's incredibly humble and has the ability to speak to a group comprised of both experts and novices at the same time. I have no idea how this is done, but I want to learn how. Another student said, with a genuine interest in seeing students succeed, this professor has an animated and authentic personality that is evident in their teaching style. Another comment, this professor's excitement for the category deepened my curiosity and interest in the subject matter. I always look forward to attending class because I knew it would be fun, experiential, and educational. Thank God for the other two, right? This professor created learning moments that will forever be embedded in our minds as we navigate through our careers. This professor's deep knowledge of the subject, genuine care for students, and excitement to teach made this class one of the most memorable and enjoyable ones. The winner of this award is one of the most passionate professors I have ever encountered, not only at FIT, but in my entire academic career. So I'm delighted tonight to present the Estee Lauder Company's Faculty Leadership Award on behalf of the class of 2016 to Professor Karen Young.
Tonight's final award is the highest award that we give, the Department Medal. And to join me in giving this award tonight, I'd like to welcome up Jerry Vittoria, who needs no crutches, who is the chair of our Industry Advisory Board and the president of Firmenich USA. And I want to take the opportunity to thank both Jerry and our vice chair of our board, Camille McDonald, both of whom are incredibly dedicated to the program and spend hours advising us on curriculum and leadership development and just provide tremendous support to our students. So in deciding on a recipient for the Department Medal each year, we consider all elements: scholarship, leadership, service to the college and to the School of Graduate Studies, and are looking always for the true, holistic, and outstanding leader who represents all of these ideals. This year, the 2016 Department Medal is awarded to L'Oreal's Andrea Muguerza. So in closing, before I turn it over to Jerry, I just want to thank all of you for being with us and to please direct your attention to the page of special thanks in the program to all of the people who have helped put this program together and to put this evening together. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here. And I will turn it over to the handsome Mr. Vittoria to close this evening.
Okay. I'll be very quick since apparently I'm in danger of being replaced by a robot any minute now. So congratulations first and foremost to the class of 2016, an outstanding job tonight. Bravo. The only caveat I would say is I think we're going to be repeating this presentation many times, and all our advisory boards and our executive teams are all going to want to see it over and over again. So get used to presenting and representing, a lot of great learning. Thank you on behalf of all the advisory board. It's really, we're all so proud of you. We get the opportunity to see you on numerous occasions during the year, not only just for Capstone, but for the various other presentations. And we could not be prouder after 15 years of what this program has become. So without further ado, I would like to thank LVMH once again. Without you tonight would not be possible. So to Neil, Pamela, thank you so much. It's always very, very important to find outstanding sponsors like yourselves. And we have a reception now, again sponsored by LVMH. So please take a few minutes to join us. And great innovations come out of receptions as well. So have a good night.